Once upon a time, in a peaceful forest, there lived a wolf named Wilfred. Contrary to the tales spun by the little pigs, Wilfred wasn't a villain. He was a misunderstood and unfortunate fellow who had the misfortune of crossing paths with three very peculiar pigs. One fine morning, Wilfred woke up with a dreadful cold. His nose was stuffy, his throat was scratchy, and every breath felt like a laborious effort. All he wanted was to find something to soothe his sore throat, perhaps some honey or a hot cup of tea. As he wandered through the forest, he stumbled upon a quaint little house made entirely of straw. Curious and hopeful that the resident might have some honey to spare, Wilfred approached the door and knocked gently. To his surprise, the door creaked open slightly, but no one answered. Feeling another sneeze building up, he called out, little pig, are you in? Could you spare some honey for a poor sick wolf?" Just as he finished speaking, a massive sneeze overcame him. Achoo! He sneezed so forcefully that the flimsy straw house collapsed entirely. Amid the confusion and the flying straw, the little pig inside squealed and darted away into the forest, not even stopping to help the poor wolf. Bewildered and feeling worse than before, Wilfred continued his journey. He soon came upon a second house, this one made of sticks. Hoping for better luck, he knocked on the door and called out again, little pig, could you help a sick wolf with some honey?" Once more there was no response, only silence. Wilfred felt another sneeze coming on. He tried to hold it back, but it was no use. Achoo! This sneeze was even bigger, and the stick house fell apart just like the first one. The little pig inside let out a frightened squeal and scampered off without a word. Now thoroughly miserable and confused, Wilfred trudged on until he reached a sturdy brick house. Determined to explain himself properly this time, he knocked on the door and called out, little pig, please help me. I just need some honey. I have a terrible cold, and I mean no harm." From inside the house, the third pig answered, "Go away, wolf. You're just trying to blow my house down like you did with my brother's houses." Wilfred tried to protest, but his nose twitched, and before he knew it, achoo! The sneeze echoed through the forest, but the brick house stood firm. Relieved that he hadn't caused any more destruction, Wilfred sat down on the doorstep and explained through the door, "I didn't mean to blow down their houses. I'm just sick and looking for some honey to soothe my throat." The third pig, feeling a bit sorry for the wolf now, finally opened the door a crack and handed Wilfred a jar of honey. "Take this, and please go away," he said. Wilfred thanked the pig and slowly made his way back home. As he sipped the honey and felt his throat begin to soothe, Wilfred reflected on the day's events. He realised that his sneezes had caused a lot of trouble, but he had never intended to harm anyone. The next day, feeling much better, he decided to write a letter of apology to the three little pigs, explaining the misunderstanding and promising to be more careful in the future. And so, Wilfred the wolf learned to be cautious with his sneezes, and the three little pigs, having rebuilt their houses, learned to listen a bit more carefully before jumping to conclusions. Peace returned to the forest, and they all lived happily ever after.